Hey friends, it's Ms Becca here in Salinas, California. Oh, right here. I'm over here. Can you see me? Oh, I didn't know if you could see me because I look really camouflaged right now in this green sweatshirt, don't I? I blend right in with this green field. Well, I'm in a field of flowers today because I just had to be around them. That's exactly what we're going to learn about today. We're going to read a story called The Reason for a Flower by Ruth Heller. I wonder, what do you think the reason for a flower is? I mean, they smell really good, right? And they look really pretty. But I don't know if that's all. I don't know if that's the whole reason for a flower. We better take a look inside. Let's do it. All right, friends, let's get started. The title of our story is called The Reason for a Flower by Ruth Heller. You know, I noticed it doesn't say the author's name and it doesn't say the illustrator's name. It just says by Ruth Heller. You know what? That actually means that she wrote it and illustrated it. If it doesn't say that this is the author, this is the illustrator, it just says by, that means they did both. Wow, Ruth Heller wrote this story and she did the pictures. Here's our first page. Birds and bees. Oh my goodness. Do you see those bumblebees? And look at hummingbirds. Hummingbirds know how to flap their wings really fast, don't they? And these, what do you see? Do you see butterflies? Look at this. I love this flower so much. That flower is called the bird of paradise. Now, is it really a bird? No, it just looks like a bird, silly. It's a flower. And these sip nectar from the flowers. Wow, it's dark out, but all these animals are awake. All these animals and insects are awake. That means they're nocturnal. Nocturnal means that they sleep during the day and they're awake at night. So wow, so the birds and the bees, the butterflies, and these nocturnal animals and insects, they sip the nectar from the flowers. That's their job with the flower. They sip the nectar. Nectar's really sweet. And as they search for more and more, pollen from the flower before goes to the next one they explore. Wow! So these bees and these birds and butterflies, they're called pollinators. Pollinators are very, very important to this environment. We can't live without pollinators. Pollinators take pollen from one flower to the next. And usually it's by accident. We're going to learn about that later. So pollen is very important. Some pollen travels in the breeze. That's the breeze right now. Can you see it? It's going through my hair. Without the help of birds or bees, and very often makes you sneeze. Oh no. So sometimes pollen travels in the breeze when the wind blows it. And that pollen gets in the air and it gets on other flowers and sometimes it gets in your nose and it makes you achoo. Some people have really bad allergies to pollen. It's a bummer. From an anther on a stamen. Wow, that's the anther up there on a stamen. To a stigma on a style. Pollen grains must travel and stay a little while, and then you'll see the reason. So those pollen grains, they need to travel and stay. They have to hang out for a little while once they find a flower. For each flower, even weeds, the reason for a flower. is to manufacture. That means to make. What do you think it's gonna make? Seeds! Oh my goodness! Look at all those seeds. Seeds that have a cover of one kind or another. Some grow inside a juicy fruit. And it's not odd to find them growing in a pod. Oh my goodness, what kind of fruit do you see? What kind of fruits? Look it, wow, I see an avocado with a big seed in the middle. And there's a pomegranate and a tomato. Can you see the seeds? And look, there's a pepper. Did you know that peppers are actually fruit? But they're marketed as vegetables. The largest one's a coconut. Oh my, that's a seed? What? Did you know that? Not only is a coconut a seed, it's also a fruit and a nut. What? Oh my goodness. A nut is right there, and a nut is a dried fruit inside like a shell. Is that not the wildest? I'm sorry, but when I first heard this, I was like, what? A nut is a dried fruit inside a shell? Wow, that's really cool. I've never known that. Wow, seeds come in all different shapes and sizes. They look really cool, don't they? So that is the reason for a flower. Seeds travel far and wide. Some even like to hitch a ride upon a bike or on a shoe. Squirrels hide them and forget they do. Isn't that so funny? Squirrels spend a lot of time finding acorns to eat, and they hide them so that they can find them later. But guess what? Sometimes they forget where they put them. And then the rain comes and the sun comes, and that acorn turns into an oak tree. How awesome is that? We need squirrels really bad around here. We love trees. Some have burrs that stick to furs and travel at a gallop. Wow, I didn't know that. You know those sticky things that get stuck to you when you're walking in fields like this, right behind me? I take walks in fields like this, and all of a sudden I look down and I got all these prickly things all over me. Well, guess what? Those are seeds. Wow, I didn't even know that. So maybe next time I'll be more gentle when I take them off. Seeds can settle anywhere they find water, sun, and air. That's what a seed needs to grow. Water, sun, and air. And then grow roots and stems and leaves. Wow, what do you see there? I see a carrot. What's this? A beet. This is a radish. Do you see these roots down below? The roots grow down below the Earth's surface. What we see up top are the stems and the leaves. And the flowers, of course. Some seeds grow up to be trees. An itty bitty little seed can grow up to be this big mighty tree. Wow, seeds are so cool. They might be little, but they are fierce. These grow where it's very dry. What kind of flowers are those? Cactus! Those are cactus plants. And these grow where it's wet. Those are called water lilies. They love the water. Look, you can see a little froggy. Rabbit, rabbit. And a dragonfly. Dragonflies are nice. They don't bite. They don't sting. These may not look like flowers, but they're the most important yet. Rice and barley, corn and wheat are cereals we need to eat. Those are our grains. When you chop these up really fine means it's really small, tiny. When you chop it up really fine, you can use those to make food. And wow, that's what we eat. Your cereal in the morning is made from that wheat. What about that? Millet and bamboo are a treat for, who do you think? Millet and bamboo are a treat for animals who don't like meat. These animals don't eat meat. They are called herbivores. Wow, there's a lot of animals that don't eat meat, huh? Horses, elephants, what do you see? There's a lot of animals. Would you believe these plants eat meat and they are called carnivores? Wow, look at those plants. You don't want to be a fly getting caught in that plant. Gulp, they're gonna eat you right up. The largest flower ever found grows in the jungle near the ground. A parasite clinging tight to roots of trees that feed it. It's 3 feet wide, or maybe 4. Whoa, that means it's probably bigger than you. Wow, maybe the same size as you, I don't know. Weighs 15 pounds and sometimes more, and has a nasty odor. That means it stinks. Pee-you! Oh my goodness, I don't want that flower in my house if it stinks. Rafflesia is its name. Wow, Rafflesia. But here's a flower that owes its fame to smelling very sweet. And scientists agree that magnolias seem to be a prehistoric family. What? Prehistoric? Do you know what that means? Magnolias have been around since the dinosaurs. What? We've been walking around with the same flower the dinosaurs walked around with. Wow. All flowers are angiosperm. That's an ancient Grecian term. Angiosperm means that the plant has a flower that is protecting the seeds. When a plant does not have a flower, it's called a gymnosperm. A gymnosperm does not have a flower. It's kind of like a pine cone. Like a pine tree grows pine cones, and the seeds grow in the pine cones, and you can see them. If you get a pine cone, you can see the seeds. They're not really fully protected. They're out in the open. They're not deep in a flower protected. So all flowers are angiosperm. Here are just a very few products made from them for you. Just a few? That's a lot of products. Let's take a look here. We got a paper crane. Paper comes from flowers. Straw, wood, all of this comes from plants. Candy, coffee, tea, chocolate. Oh my goodness, now I really love plants. Popcorn, pasta and bread. Pasta and bread are some of our grains, just like our cereal we talked about. Perfume. I bet it smells good. Let's smell. Take a smell. Woo! Smells really good, actually. A cork, medicine, cotton, rope, rubber. What? That balloon is made out of a plant? No way. No way. Wait. You know what? It is. It's made out of a sap that comes out of a tree called latex. The sap is called latex, and they make it into rubber. I mean, people are smart. People have created a lot of things from plants. So can you. I bet you can make some really cool art projects, or maybe you can just grow a garden in your own neighborhood or area inside your house and your yard, and you can grow your own seeds, maybe sunflower seeds, maybe pumpkin seeds. Grow a big old pumpkin that could turn into Cinderella's carriage. Wow, that would be something. Plants that have no flowers are fascinating too. What is that? That's a mushroom with a ladybug on it. This one has become a plum. Do you see that? Here it starts out as the flower. It starts to grow into a plum. What? That is so wild. Wow, flowers are so important. The reason for a flower is the seed. The seed of a flower is so important because the seed helps it grow more flowers. If a flower didn't have seeds in it, there wouldn't be anything dropping on the ground and creating more flowers to grow. So let's take a look at this diagram. A diagram is a picture, and I don't know about you, but when I'm learning something new, it's a lot easier to learn when there's a picture. So this is the inside of a flower. Right out here we have its petals. Petals are really colorful, aren't they? Well, the petals are so colorful and beautiful because their job is to attract the butterflies and the bees and the birds. Do you remember what we call those guys? Our pollinators. Well, that's perfect because we're about to talk about pollen. So there's two different parts of the flower. This side's the stamen. We're going to talk about that. Over here is this anther. You see that little orange piece is popping out? Well, those are the anthers, and inside the anther there's pollen. That's the anther's job, is to make the pollen. This is called its filament. That helps hold up the anther. Over here on the other side, we have the flower's pistil. That's usually the center of the flower. So we have a lot of parts, 4 different parts to this. The top is called its stigma. This long thing looks like its neck. That's called its style. Down here is the ovary, and inside the ovary is called the ovules. The ovules are egg cells. So, with the flower, what happens is the bees come, right? The bees come, and they have pollen on their legs because they land on the flower. They accidentally get pollen on their legs while they're just sucking the nectar. And then they leave. And they go to another flower. And when that pollen lands on the flower, if it lands right there on the stigma, boom, we're going to have us some seeds. Because guess what? When that pollen lands on the stigma, it travels down the neck, which is called the style, into the ovary, and it goes with the ovules, and it mixes together. The pollen and the ovules mix together. It's called fertilization. And when they fertilize, when those eggs get fertilized with the pollen, they start to grow into seeds. All of a sudden, you're getting a flower full of seeds. And it either grows into a fruit or it grows into something dry and it can drop. But that is what happens. That is the inside of a flower. So we need pollen, and we need those eggs down here, those ovules. We need that pollen and those ovules to mix. And who brings that pollen around? All those birds and bees and butterflies. So that's the next thing I just want to tell you really quick. I know that you get really scared of bees. You see a bee and you're like, I keep hearing the bee. Don't let this bee get me. Guess what? You are really big. Are you bigger than that bee? Yes, you're bigger than that bee. And when that bee comes around, guess what? He's like, whoa, look at that green, colorful shirt. But wait a minute, I'm a bee, so I think it's a flower. So he lands on me. This bee lands on me because he thinks my green shirt is a flower. Is my green shirt a flower? No. So the bee's right here and I'm going, it's okay, it's okay. Because guess what? The bee flies away. The bee flies away because it realizes I am not a flower. It didn't sting me. That bee didn't sting me. You know why? Because I wasn't doing this. Ah! Get the bee away from me! I don't want the bee on me! Did that scare you? Guess what? It's gonna scare a bee too. And bees, ooh, and they get scared. What comes out? They're stingers. What would you do? What would you do if something came up to you and just was like, ah! I mean, you right away would be like, oh my God, hey, wait a minute. Right? That's what the bee's doing. The bee's saying, whoa, something's trying to hurt me. So he gets his stinger out and he tries to hurt you back because he's scared. He thinks you're gonna get him. And over here, you think he's gonna get you. Well, guess what? We are lucky because we know better. We know that bees aren't out there to try to hurt us and sting us. If you just leave them alone, they're doing something so great for us. They are helping spread pollen to help make more and more and more flowers without the bees. Friends, it would be bad news. Without the bees, it would be really bad news. We wouldn't have as many plants as we do. We might not have any plants at all. So we really need to be brave, okay? When that bee comes to you, and you see a bee coming, you hear that buzz, and you're starting to get nervous, and you're like, oh, I wanna move my hands, but I better not. I better not. And that bee even lands on you, and you go, oh man, it's crawling up my arm. Be brave. Take a breath. Say, it's not gonna get me. It's not gonna get me. Flew away. Flew away just like that. And look at you. You were brave. I'm proud of you because I know that you care. I know that you care about the bees. And I know that you care about these flowers and these plants. Because without flowers and plants, we couldn't live. And neither could the animals. So I am so glad that you care enough about all that you're going to be brave next time you see a bee. And you're not going to hurt it, are you? Air high five. Whoa! Gosh, that hurt. You really did that one hard. One more time. Ow! Jeez! What in the world have you been practicing? All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. What a fun time. I'm sorry I talk so much. I am a talker. Bye, friends.